Hello everyone. Okay, this video is going to be about how to select things because you want to be very selective when you're making a chip. Haha, little humor there, or failed attempt at humor, or whatever, I don't know. So what I'll probably do is, I showed you this list of cells in the last video. I'm going to go ahead and start on this NPN1 cell just because it's a little simpler than that whole op-amp. I'll probably be working with this for most of this kind of series of tutorials or whatever. I am following the tutorial that's built into the program a little bit. Like I mentioned the help in the last video. If you go to the help and look at the tutorial, it essentially does the same thing. It has you opening up just this one NPN transistor as a starter because it's obviously, you know, one component. It's a little easier to understand than the whole op-amp. So let's start with here. This is, like I said, this is an NPN transistor. It might be a little hard to read because of the hashing that's covering them. But basically, the top item here, this is the collector, pad. This is the base, and this is the emitter of the transistor. So basically, the emitter is, in this case, is where the electrons come in, and the emitter emits electrons into the base of the transistor. And the base is kind of like it's analogous to the gate in a MOSFET. And then the collector collects electrons from the base and shoots them out to whatever wants those electrons. Yeah, it's probably a very poor explanation, but you know, this isn't a primer on transistor functionality. This is just about the program. So just take my word for it. This is the collector, this is the base, that's the emitter. That should be all you need to know about those. So let's go ahead and start with selecting things. We have a lot of buttons here that are about selecting things, like Get. Get is useful to select something, but it's a little bit weird because it selects one vertex. Let's see, it selected just that one corner or vertex of this whole pad or polygon, and I can select other vertices in the same way. But that's really, well, I guess sometimes it's useful, but other times it's really not very useful. What you really want to do is, if you want to select the whole part, is use Fget, which stands for full get. And now if I select just a little corner of that, it selects the whole thing. See, it selects the whole part. And same thing with something like this. I can select that whole rectangle using Fget, where if I use just plain old get on one of these, it just selects that one side. See? So there you go. So use get to get one vertex, and Fget basically chooses an entire element. And if you want to unselect things, the dual to that is put. So if you press F put, or here you go, you see A put here, A put drops everything. So A put deselects everything. So if you've selected something and you want to drop it and not have it selected anymore, just click on A put. There you go. Pretty straightforward. There's also, I mean, there are some other commands here, like cget and cput is for a cell. That's to select one entire cell, which we're obviously not going to use in this view because this whole screen is one cell. But if you're working with several cells on the screen at once, that's useful. Cget and tput is for text. I guess you can select text here. That actually that's useful because it highlights the text and makes it a different color, so you can more clearly see that that is the collector, base, and emitter. If you didn't take my word for it, because nobody trusts me. And that's pretty much it. That gives you pretty much the right idea about how to select things. And if you want to get some information about things, let's do a full get on all this stuff in the middle here. If you want to get some further info, you can click on the info button up here. And sometimes it's a little hard to tell what element it's talking about. Like right now, several things are selected, so you're not going to know exactly, you probably won't know exactly what thing it's talking about. But basically, you know what, let's do an alt put on that to put everything down. Let's choose just one thing at a time so we can get a little clear idea of what it's talking about. I'll select that polygon there, click on info. Okay, so it calls it a path text. LASI's naming for things is a little bit weird. Basically, you can have two object types. You can have a box, which I believe this is. It's just, you know, a straight rectangle. Or you can have a path, which it appears to also lump under text. So basically it considers text and paths to be part of the same entity type. I don't know why. But basically a path is something, basically anything that's not a box. A box is just, you know, a four-sided rectangle, and anything that's not that is what it calls a path, or a poly, which is a little bit confusing, because when you think poly, you might think polysilicon, but in this case it means polygon, as in, you know, a more conventional drawing program. So there you go. I'll get more into, I'll show you how to actually create boxes and paths and things like that in a future video, but for now that's basically it. So to summarize, get selects one vertex, like that. Well, I selected two in this case. I selected two sides of the box. It selects a side of a box or a vertex in a polygon. Fget selects an entire object all at once, like that, or like that. Cget and Tget, and these C commands are for cells, these T commands are for text. Aput puts everything down, it deselects everything, and you know there are analogous put and fput commands over here. So there you go. And let's see. I believe you can just delete things by pressing the delete button. So let's say I want to delete this rectangle because I don't like it. I just tap delete, and there you go. It's gone. Pretty easy, right? Yeah, I should probably undo that. There we go. All right. There you go. Okay, I think that's all for this video. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye for now.